Well, good Sunday evening, Arkansas. This is Chief Forecaster Cameron back here once again here to give you guys kind of a evening video. Kind of wanted to talk to you guys about what's coming up as we get into the middle to late part of the month, because there's just been a lot of controversy about it, and I felt as though that I needed to make a video about this. So, first and foremost, there was a post that went out earlier this afternoon. That was from me, by the way. And I was talking to you guys about, just treading lightly on social media, be careful about that share button. And I was talking to you guys about the cold air. Now, I think a lot of people may have taken that context wrong. I never said that this was going to be, winter was over, it was done, we weren't going to get cold or anything like that. I did mention earlier on that we were going to talk about cold air as we get towards mid to late February. However, is it going to challenge January? Are we going to be talking, how cold are we talking here? Because yes, temperatures are going to be below normal. That's a guarantee. How cold are we talking? Are we talking, what happened back in January where temperatures were in the, in the teens and 20s for highs, overnight lows in the single digits to negatives? Or are we talking about temperatures in the 30s and 40s for highs and overnight lows in the 20s? That's why I was telling you guys just to be careful, because there was a graphic going around suggesting that, we were going to have these negative temperatures for highs once again and all that. It's way too far out to start talking about that stuff right now here. But yes, the pattern change that we did mention, and for those that pay attention to what we post to our winter outlook, etc., we've been talking about this. We said January and February we're going to feature both below normal and above normal temperatures. And speaking of January, we finished January with below normal temperatures and above average snowfall, especially for our folks in north and central Arkansas. So let's talk about what you're seeing on your screen right now here, okay? So this is what we call the AO, or the AO index, or the Arctic oscillation. Just going to put this in layman's terms. In a positive, it's going to be pretty warm. In the negatives, it's pretty cold. So if you're in a negative phase, that helps to bring the cold air down to our neck of the woods here. That's step number one. Let's talk about the NAO. NAO, same process, the North Atlantic oscillation. You want this to be in the negative if you want that cold air to be here in Arkansas. That's also going in the negative, especially mid part of the month here. It's not going to be anything anytime soon, but it's going to happen as we get towards that middle and late part of the month here. And also, let's take a look at what we call the PNA, which is your Pacific North American oscillation. Basically, in layman's terms, this means, do you have a trough out west or do you have ridging? This means you're going to have ridging because you're going to be in the positives. The positives mean warmer, warmer means ridging. If it's in the negatives, it means troughing, colder, a colder west, and will be a warmer east, which would normally result in severe weather. But if you have a positive PNA, you have a ridge out west, trough out east, which means a colder east and a warmer west. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, you can always ask me. But I just wanted to kind of clarify that, because a lot of people kind of took that the wrong way. They were like, this is going to be like 70 degrees, winter was done. No. We never said winter was over. We never said that the cold air was not going to happen. We're trying to figure out what type of cold air we're going to be dealing with. That's where we're at right now, because you're trying to forecast this 2 weeks in advance instead of trying to forecast this right now. So I just wanted to make that clear. Also, this is also the EPO. This also helps with trying to get storm systems here, and you're going to the negative phase as well, which is something that you want to see if you're a cold and snow lover. Now, a couple of things. When you get into February, this is going to be a little different than you would normally deal with when you're in January. Okay, if you're in January, your sun angle is not as high. You don't have to worry about the melting process as fast. You start getting into mid to late February, early March, your sun angle starts going up, so it's going to be a little bit tougher to get one of these mega snowstorms. I'm not saying, for anyone takes into context, I'm not saying that it can't happen. I'm not saying that at all. It's just a little tougher the later you get into the winter and into the spring time frame here. So what you're looking at on your screen, and I want to stress this as a disclaimer, this is one particular model. This is one model. It's going to change over the next couple of weeks here. However, as it stands right now, the best shot of seeing winter precipitation over the next 16 days would be our folks up there in northern Arkansas. Now, like I said before, you're 2 weeks away. What can happen between now and then? But I want to make this clear. We are not saying that winter is over. It's going to be warm. We're not challenging anyone else's forecast. We literally told you guys over the last couple of months that January and February were going to be our coldest time frames here, and then we will gradually start warming up as we get into the spring time frame here. Okay, so I want to show you guys this. This is going to be the GFS, and I'll go back over to the Euro coming up here in just a little bit. So first and foremost, it is going to be warm as we get into the later part of this upcoming week here. 70s are going to be back in the forecast. We're still in that January thaw right now here. You know, the January thaw typically lasts that first 2 weeks of February. Then we'll have that one shot of winter weather in, you know, mid to late February, and then we'll be done. So this one that's coming up for late month, as it stands right now, will probably be our last shot of seeing the potential of cold in some winter weather. It will probably be one of our last shots because we'll start migrating in spring. And we'll start talking about that. And speaking of spring, we're going to have our spring outlook coming up over the next couple of weeks. I'll sit down and kind of go over a timing with you guys when that's going to get posted here. But as you can see, look at it. There's on Friday. There could also be the potential of severe weather. A lot of people are not talking about this potential, but we'll have to keep an eye on it as we get towards the weekend. Depends on what happens with the overall moisture return. But let's just kind of blitz this through. And you can see temperatures, they do drop off. You gotta remember your averages are about 52 to 55 degrees this time of the year. Anything below that is technically below normal. So no one's disagreeing that this is gonna be we're not gonna see any sustained cold air or anything like that. No one's disagreeing with that. It's just how cold do we actually get Arkansas? That's the number one question that we're trying to answer right now here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over to the Euro Ensemble. The ensembles have the best idea right now on what we're looking at here. So I'll just go over to, give me just 1 second. That's going to be less, I do believe. And give me just 1 second. Let me go over to, this is going to be I believe that's going to be a 7-8 average. Give me just 1 second. You can see, let's take a look. Let's just go out in time, okay? And you can see, look at there. You get to the 11th, which is Super Bowl Sunday, all the way to that following Sunday. You're starting talking about below normal temperatures across the board. So I just want to make this clear to kind of a quick 8-minute video. We are not saying no to cold and snow right now. We're not saying that. A lot of people took that out of context. I apologize if someone took that out of context. That's how it is. But we never said no to winter. The time is ticking for winter. Because you got to remember, you're in February now. You're going to start transitioning to March, and into April, and into May. The time is ticking for winter, but it's not over just yet, if that makes sense. Okay, so like I mentioned before, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago as well. Above normal to start February, because that's normal here in Arkansas. It's a January thaw, and then you can see by the time we get into day 8, day 15, we start talking about below normal temperatures here in Arkansas. Who's going to see winter weather? All that. Way too early to start talking about that at this point. Obviously, North Arkansas is going to be the favorite, but, you know, that depends on the system, the timing, all the other good stuff here, guys. So I hope this made sense. And if you have any questions or anything like that, just feel free to comment below or send us a message, etc. here, guys. So we'll continue to keep you guys updated right here in your source for all things Arkansas weather.